Hi guys, it's Nick. I said I was going to make another video this week, so I am. This week I wanted to talk about testosterone and why I have been no T for 3 years. I will say it wasn't a choice that was really like, oh well, should I go off of it? Should I stay on it? Is it doing what it should be doing? It was more like, well, if this keeps happening, it's not really working. Let me explain. And let's see, probably around June of '09, I started noticing that every time I would take my T shot, I would start bleeding the next day. And I was like, well, okay, so this has happened for a couple weeks, a couple times, a couple shots. It went on for about 2 months, so that's about 4 shots. And then after about 2 months, I was like, okay, well, let me think about this. I've got where I'm taking my T on these days. I'm still at the initial dosage, and I have been for 3 years. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just my T is, my prescription's not high enough anymore, so I tried playing around with going a little bit higher. Instead of half cc, I would do a full cc. It still happened. Then I was like, okay, well maybe my T is converting into estrogen, because that is common once you don't need T anymore, to combat, the estrogen and all that shit. And I went down to like a quarter cc. Yeah, still didn't work. So by the time December of 2009 rolled around, it was still the same issues. Every time I took my shot, I would start bleeding. Didn't matter if I went. I even tested it out. If I didn't take my T, then I wouldn't bleed. So it was very weird the way it was working. And I talked to my doctors about it. They didn't know why. They couldn't give me any answers. So I just went off of T. No, I mean, it was December of '09, so technically it's been like 2.5 years. But even still, I have 3 years worth of progression, and I'm okay with that. I would prefer to get back on T. In fact, I have where I'm scheduling an endocrinologist appointment soon, so hopefully they'll put me back on T. Now, let me explain to you some things that happen when you're off T for an extended period of time, because I know that there's a lot of people who go off T, but they don't really talk about it. And there's a lot of people who, they've recently gone off T. In 3 years, my energy levels have gone way down, like ridiculously way down. And that didn't start happening until about 1.5 years without T. I started having more fatty tissue. I'm not going to say it redistributed itself to a more feminine appearance, because it really didn't. It was just more fatty tissue. I gained weight. Maybe it has to do with the lack of energy, but it didn't matter what I was eating. It didn't matter how often I was exercising, what I was doing. I was still gaining weight. To be honest, right now I'm 240. When I went off the T, I was weighing 200. Now, in between there, I didn't lead a sedentary life. I was walking a couple miles a day. I was exercising every night, eating right. And if I wasn't eating right, I was eating hardly at all. So it was more like I went kind of anorexic for a while. And that was not so much my choice, but just financial issues. But regardless, I never went back to where I was at when I was on T. I always stayed higher, so there was more fatty tissue. Sex drive, zip. And I didn't really start noticing that until maybe about 1 year after I stopped. Aside from that, yes, I am more emotional. I mean, that just comes with the territory, I guess. But, I mean, as far as major changes, the weight, the energy, sex drive, emotions, and, like, I think downstairs growth has kind of receded a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception of things. Maybe it's weight gain. I don't know. But I mean, that's why I went off T. That's what happened when I went off T. And yes, I am looking forward to getting back on T as soon as they get me into the doctor. I'll get back on T, and hopefully shortly thereafter I will have my full hysterectomy. So there should be some awesome changes coming. I'm really hoping. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys that update, let you know what was going on and how things were happening and what has happened. So see you guys later.